Welcome back, boxing fans, to another great show with Sean Unboxing. Today, we're going to look at my popcorn list. If you guys watch Ari Halawan, Canadian MMA broadcaster or obviously personality, he's moved over into boxing. Obviously, if you want to be successful, you can't just stay in one combat sport. It's best to sort of diversify yourself. So he's done that. So now you can see him do many interviews with boxers and people involved in the sport. Obviously, he just did an interview earlier today. If you haven't seen it, you should check it out with rising up and come superstar Keyshawn Davis, who I predict is going to beat Dela Santos' ass into the ground. No Diddy. But obviously, this is my list. And the good thing about this popcorn list, I mean, it's nothing we haven't seen before. This is basically just your favorite fighters list, right? With a new name to it. This is not a pound for pound list. This is not a list that is supposed to be considered a pound for pound list. Pound for pound lists are completely different. They're not based on personal likes and personal, favoritism. They're based on fighters who've actually accomplished things in the sport, and based on the accomplishments they've done, this has moved them up the pound for pound list. A popcorn list is just fighters you love to watch and you don't want to miss their fights no matter what. So this is my popcorn list, my top 10, and then I have a few other up and coming fighters on it. Obviously, some fighters have slid off. Golovkin, obviously, looks like he's retiring, so he's not on my list. Anthony Joshua, obviously, has fallen off a cliff, right? His last performance against Daniel Dubois was very disappointing. I still am a big AJ fan, but my expectations for him now in the sport are not very high. I don't expect him to fight for another world title. I don't expect too much from him. Obviously, I'd like to see him against Fury still, but outside of that, I mean, he's made lots of money. It might be past his time. Drunk Irishman, welcome. Uh, so this is my popcorn list, the fighters I love to watch, and I don't want to miss them. When these guys are scheduled to fight, I'm super stoked, very excited to see them. And obviously, there's lots of young up and coming fighters, but at this point, they haven't done enough to really grab my attention to the point where I'd put them on this list. But let's check it out. Remember, feel free to leave your comments in the comment section below or in the comment section below of this video and tell me, who are your top 10 popcorn fighters that must see? Yes, retirement, Kosi Tanaka. It's a little disappointing, but obviously injuries have been an issue with him, consistent eye injuries. He's a fighter that's consistently been a very, very bad defender. And because of that, he's been in war after war after war. And, those kind of things are going to take a toll on you. 29 years old, retiring, 4-weight world champion, the fastest fighter in boxing history to become a 3-weight world champion, tied with Vasily Lomachenko. Both of them did it in 11 fights. So Kosi Tanaka, hats off to a future Hall of Famer, at least a future Japanese Hall of Famer. My man, Hollow Ninja, you're a king among men. What's up, Sean? Quick question. What is it that in the Eastern Europeans and Asian boxing countries all hold Terence Crawford in high regard and study him, but here in the West, we trash him? What the fuck, man? Well, the problem with Terence Crawford is that he's not affiliated with the PBC. And this has consistently been the reason he was criticized by many fellow Americans, right? Because obviously these people were huge PBC fanboys, talked about how the PBC, and obviously before that, they were huge Showtime fanboys, very happy when HBO went out of business, but moaning and groaning, obviously, when, yeah, here you go. Perfect comment, right? These kind of guys. A man that takes care of his career, did everything he needed to do, got the contracts that took care of his family and created wealth within his family and his community. But then you have guys like this that call him a top ranked Toby. See, that kind of stupidity right? Guys are free to make the contracts that they feel benefit them. If he would have went to PBC, would that have been beneficial to him? What would he have got from the PBC that he didn't get from Top Rank? I mean, if you believe the rumors, Al Heyman collects your money and pays you off little fucking, checks here and there, and you don't get all your money up front. So, Bud Crawford don't need that shit. Bud Crawford's been paid well. Now he's in position to make fucking big money in a Canelo fight. If he beats Canelo, he retires a 3-weight undisputed champion and is going to be recognized as one of the best American fighters of the modern generation. The reality is these Showtime PBC guys, they're just bent out of shape because he wasn't with PBC, right? I mean, that's how fucking, what's the word that I'm looking for? How childish, juvenile these guys are. Like when Canelo went over to the PBC, Manny Pacquiao went over to the PBC, you didn't see me hate on these fighters because they joined the enemy. Right? I don't fucking care. They're adults and they're going to do what's best for them. It has nothing to do with me. I just want to see them fight. I really don't give a fuck what promotional company these guys fight for, as long as they're giving me fights I want to see. And that's the end of it, right? The rest doesn't mean anything. Turkey paying in cryptocurrency now. Maybe he is. Crypto is fucking huge. If you want to move money from one country to another and avoid taxes, it's probably the fucking right thing to do. Of course, I don't know enough about it, so I'll leave that to experts. Hollow Ninja says, when True School went to Japan, you would think that most of the guys would have said Nui in the gym. A majority of the newcomers in Japan said Terence Crawford got them boxing. Dope. True School interviewed a lot of Japanese boxers, and plenty of them said they are massive Crawford fans. Yeah. I mean, of course, that goes against John Boxing's narrative, where he thinks everybody outside of America is as ignorant as him, right? Where they only support fighters that look like them, right? Because this is a lot of the stupidity we have to put up from American content creators. But, it is what it is. But let's check out my popcorn list. So let me just go and hide this so we have more room. So this is my popcorn list of fighters that are must watch to me. Obviously, you guys may disagree and may have different people that you think belong on this list. Feel free to leave it in the chat and we'll talk about it. But who's next? Obviously, number one on my list is Inoue. For me, Inoue is much watch TV. I don't care who Inoue fights. I want to see him fight. I got to watch his fights. Obviously, for me, it's convenient because it's at nighttime. So it's not inconvenient for me to watch him fight in Japan, unlike Americans who have to wake up early. For me, this is excellent. Oh, box office, you mean? Yes, box office. But in my opinion, obviously, this may differ from other people. Tank Davis is not on my list, even though he's a huge pay-per-view star and many people have him box office. For me, he is an exciting knockout puncher, but he's never once fought a fighter that I wanted to see him fight. Never once. And charging me $85 to watch his fights, most of the time, I don't care if I watch his fights or not, because it's against someone I don't care about, and I don't want to spend $85 to watch them. So for me, it's not must watch. I'll watch it fucking on replay. But Hollinger just says Inoue, Crawford, Virgil Ortiz, Tank Davis, even the cherry picks. I don't care who Inoue fights. This is a problem, Sean. No, Dry Turkey, it's not. Because I'm not talking about a pound for pound list. I'm talking about me wanting to watch Inoue fight. We know Inoue, unlike Tank Davis and many of these other fighters, is fighting the best fighters. He's fighting MJ next, and then there's conversations about Nick Ball, and then there's conversations about Junto Nakatani. So he's fighting literally the best fucking possible people in and around his weight class. So please, get over yourself. It's not a problem. I don't care who he fights. See, you may be too much of a fanboy and too young, but when I used to watch boxing back in the day, in the 80s and the 90s, and boxing was on Celestial TV, CBC, NBC, ABC, Friday night fights, Monday night fights, Tuesday night fights. When great fighters were on TV, I didn't care who they were fighting. When the 1984 Olympic team was fighting low-level opposition on free TV, I did not give a fuck if I knew who the opponent was. I was just excited to see these guys fight. And if they were against lesser opponents, then I was fucking assured a sensational, exciting performance from fighters that I enjoyed. Evander Holyfield, Pernell Whitaker, Virgil Hill, Mark Breland, fucking Meldrick Taylor. I mean, I didn't really care who they were fighting. Obviously, at a certain point, you end up wanting to see them against the best fighters available. True. And that's what we're getting from Inoue for the most part. So when I say I don't care who he fights, I just want to see him fight. I'm happy he fights 3 times a year. I would hate to support a PBC fighter because those guys fight once a year or once every fucking 18 months. I mean, come on. It's hard to get excited when you got to wait fucking over a year to see a guy fight. When is Frank Martin going to get back in the fucking ring? Frank Martin could be a great, exciting fighter. Who knows? We won't know. The dude never fights. He would rather be on social media shitting on Keyshawn Davis, even though Keyshawn Davis has had 3 fights in the period of time he fucking fought Tank Davis. Keyshawn's becoming a star, making money, and Frank Martin is sitting there cutting fucking steak in his kitchen, bitter and fucking miserable because he has no fucking fight scheduled. That's what happens when you sign the PBC. If he was a top-ranked Toby, that guy would be getting fucking fights consistently. Ain't that the truth? But let's go on. What do you think of Nick Ball versus Luis Nery fight? I think it's a good fight, but it's kind of funny that Nick Ball is fighting all of Inoue's leftover opponents, right? Especially since the 2 guys, the last guy he fought, the Irish guy, and now Nery are both fighters coming up in weight. Are there no legitimate fighters at 130 pounds he could fight? Or sorry, at 126 pounds he could fight? Pacquiao can pull it off. Fuck. That's another cherry pick fucking PBC card trying to suck us fucking dry of money for a card that no one gives a fuck about. I'm a huge Pacquiao fan. I don't want to see him fight Mario fucking Barros. I don't fucking care. Top 5 must-see TV for me: Inoue, Nakatani, Ortiz, Opetaya, and Bam. Hey, drunk Irishman. No Zerto? Come on, buddy. Hendrick, what's up? Liverpool. Signing fucking Wirtz. Bayern Munich is upset about that. But obviously Inoue is much-watched TV. Guy fucking has one of the highest KO percentages in boxing. Every fight he's in is fucking sensational. The Cardenas fight, which people were critical of, turned out to be fucking a great fight. Great fight. Super exciting. Hello Ninja, my man, says these cats don't understand, man. Obviously, the game is to hit and not be hit, but you have to be prepared to be hit. So why are so many fighters running? Well, that's because these dudes fucking grew up watching Floyd Mayweather, and they feel fighting this way somehow will get them paid like Floyd. But none of these guys are Floyd. None of them came up like Floyd. None of them had the opponents available like Floyd. Who are these guys as De La Hoya? They don't have it, right? So it's just delusion, but, you know, it is what it is. Dry Turkey says, that's all legit card, Sean. Stop being a Debbie Downer all the time. Give PBC its credit when it's due. Manny Pacquiao, a fighter who's been retired, getting a world title fight against fucking a guy ducking the opposition at 147. It is far from a fight I should give credit. Mario Barros should be fighting fucking Boots Ennis, not cherry picking a 46-year-old fucking fighter. But if you want to spend $85 for it, fucking help yourself. That's cool. Nothing to do with me, but I ain't fucking spending that much money. Who do you think Backham's next opponent will be? Well, the way things are going and the way people don't look interested in fighting him, I think it's going to be whoever the IBF mandates next. Because outside of that, I don't think any player is going to jump in the ring with him. So it's going to have to be some dude that the IBF perpetuates and pushes towards him. And the way that is right now, potentially that could be Erickson Lubin. And Erickson Lubin, Backram would be good. That would be a quality fight. That's a PBC fighter taking on a legitimate opponent for a legitimate world title. But let's move to number 2. Number 2 on my list, And at this point, he's still not retired, as far as I know, unlike Golovkin. It is Vasily Lomachenko. Vasily Lomachenko is can't miss boxing for me. I've been a fan before Vasily Lomachenko even became a pro, back in the amateurs, even when he was doing those 6-round fights. And obviously, I've watched every single fight with him as a pro. Losses, wins, doesn't matter. I always think he's a sensational fighter, the Matrix. It's disappointing that he had to come up to 135, because if he would have stayed at 130, just imagine the fucking run and chaos he would have fucking dished out, where when he was untouchable, literally untouchable. And I still hope he fights, right? Because I'm a big fan. I think he's stylistically a great fighter. His last performance against George Kambosos was fucking great. I think it's going to be fucking far better than Richard Hitchens' next fight will be. And it was far better than obviously Teo's, and it was better than fucking Haney's as well. He's just an exciting fighter and never has been in a bad fight. Never got beat convincingly. Every fight's been super competitive. Arguably, he could have legitimately won every fight except probably the Teo fight, which could have been a draw. It was a very competitive fight if he could have pulled off the 12th round. But it is what it is. When you like fighters, the wins and the losses don't mean so much. It's just the competition and the fights that you want to watch. So, yes, Vasily Lomachenko is number 2 on my list. He's can't miss. I'd love to see him fight any of the top guys right now at 135. Tank, Shakur, Keyshawn, Raymond Muratalla. I don't fucking care. Teo won 8-4 over Loma pretty convincingly. No, once again, we know you're fucking just a PBC fanboy, right? And you don't even like Teo, but you fucking hate Loma. So you're happy to fucking perpetuate some bullshit. I'm sure you think that fucking Loma ducked Devin Haney to fight undisputed against Teo as well. I don't know how that fucking makes sense, but somehow guys like you will find a way to spin it, because that's what you do. Then number 3, one of the most exciting fighters in boxing today, a guy who also is going to be criticized because he's connected to Bud Crawford, and he too is a top-ranked Toby. So don't be surprised if guys like Dry Turkey, PBC fanboys, start to criticize and hate on him. But Keyshawn Davis has everything, literally everything. He's got the perfect personality. He is outgoing, but not obnoxious, not fucking a kind of guy that you just want to punch in the face. He's entertaining, right? Obviously, he can get heated and fucking revved up. The dude's motor runs fast, but generally, he's a pretty fucking down-to-earth, really fucking nice guy, right? And that's how he comes across. And obviously, it's all about family and community, and you got to love that as well. And stylistically, I mean, when you compare him to guys like Shakur and Devin Haney, there ain't no fucking comparison. This dude is a legitimate boxer puncher who's bringing the pain. He ain't there to fucking dance, duck, hug, and hold his way to a fucking boring ass fight. Keyshawn is trying to take your fucking head. And I'm disappointed that Teo ducked the fight with Keyshawn, because Keyshawn for that WBO 140-pound title would have been fucking perfect. Keyshawn becoming a 2-weight world champion, taking fucking Teo's head. At that point, he would have became pound for pound on my list as well. At this point, he's still got some work to do. But he's top 3 on my popcorn list. Holland Ninja says, made my bets on Crawford, round 12, TKO against Canelo. God damn. A stoppage. Woo! I guess anything is possible, but I don't think that's fucking going to happen. But the money's going to be big if that pulls off. That's for sure. Number 4 on my list, speak of the devil, Junto Nakatani. We've mentioned him on the list so far already. Junto is fucking coming up soon. This weekend, he's fighting again along with Keyshawn Davis. Maybe I'm a prisoner of the moment. Fighters that actually are going to fight this weekend, I'm talking about them, selling them, excited about them, pushing their fights. This dude's doing what some fighters have yet to do. Of course, there you go, Dry Turkey, proving my point. Thank you very much. Unifying at this point of his career against Nishida, the IBF world champion. I mean, three-weight world champion, going to be a unified champion after this weekend. Junta Nakatani, obviously the best fighter at 118 pounds. And early next year, if things go right, we're going to get to see this fucking monster against Inoue for the biggest fight in Japanese boxing history. I mean, how can you not be excited by that? That fight will be fucking crazy. People talk about Inoue needing to go to 126 and 130. It's like, what? Pound for pound fighter is at 118. There's no pound for pound fighter at 130 or 126. The fighter that we want to see him in against is fucking Junto. And Junto is dangerous as fuck, right? It would be a great fight, and we'll see. I think he's going to beat Nishida in fantastic form this weekend and just continue to add to his legacy. Dry Turkey says, well, tell Keyshawn to make Andy Cruz fight. Prove to everybody that getting beat 4-0 in the amateurs doesn't mean anything. Well, anyone that's a real boxing fan realizes that it doesn't mean fucking anything. Sorry. But the truth is, amateur boxing and pro boxing is not fucking even close to being resembling. And the reality is, from what I've heard, Keyshawn talked to fucking Eddie Hearn. And Eddie Hearn and that team are the ones that said, oh, hold on. Cruz ain't ready yet. Of course, Cruz will talk a bunch of bullshit out on social media, but what his team is saying fucking behind the backs is not something that's edging the way you hope it does. Junto looks skinny and light in the cakes to be moving up. Oh my God, come on. The dude's like fucking one of the tallest fighters at 118 pounds. He can easily move up from 118 to 122, 4 pounds. The guy is way bigger than fucking Inoue. I think Keyshawn will outgrow the division before he has a chance to unify. Yeah, and in truth, I don't even care. Keyshawn, it'll be great if he fights Raymond Muratalla for that IBF title to unify, right? And then after that, eventually move up. That's why I said it's disappointing that Tio ducked the fight. Because after this fight now this weekend, I would have loved to see the next fight for Keyshawn against Tio at 140. We don't need Keyshawn Davis at 135. 135 got Shakur and Tank. Those two motherfuckers need to fight each other for their legacy, right? That's a fight that has to be done at that weight. And then you got up-and-coming guys like Abdullah Mason, right? He's going to be the guy that takes over that division after Tank Davis and Shakur. And obviously, he's going to move up to 140 probably pretty quickly as well because he's a pretty big boy. So he's going to have to get to it. And I think once Keyshawn moves up to 140, they're just going to move Abdullah Mason towards that WBO title, right, to give him his first world title, the way Top Rank tends to do things. Because it's nice to be a Top Rank Toby. They fucking take care of you. They build you up. They give you the titles that you need. But that's my perspective. So Junto Nakatani, one of the biggest knockout punchers in boxing, the Japanese Tommy fucking Hearns. This guy, sensational. The Schofields asking for grand money like they fought Shakur and won. Man, no one cares about those fucking dudes. Literally no one. If I never see fucking Schofield fight, I don't care. I saw fucking Sean Porter's whole career. I don't need to see it again. Don't need to. And then after that, at number 5, Bud Crawford. According to Dry Turkey, just a top-ranked Toby. But this top-ranked Toby is a 2-weight undisputed champion, 4-weight world champion, a man moving up 2 weight divisions to take on Canelo Alvarez, a fellow pound-for-pound top 10 fighter, to become a 3-weight undisputed champion. Something literally we've never seen in boxing. You'd have to kind of compare it to Hammer and Hank Armstrong when he was literally a 3-division champion back in the day. And back then when you were a champion in a division, you were the champion. There wasn't like 3 other fucking guys holding belts, right? So it's kind of goes back all the way back there to 1930, 1940, right? When he had belts at 3 weight divisions at the same fucking time. That's kind of the best comparison you'd have to say for Bud Crawford. And obviously, if he does that, he's going to be ranked really fucking high all time, right? Potentially higher than Floyd Mayweather, right? Because he's done something no one else has done. And Floyd Mayweather never even attempted to do that shit because he might have had to fucking fight somebody. But yes, Bud Crawford taking on Canelo. I don't know who's going to win, but I definitely see how Bud Crawford can win that fight. I can't imagine him stopping Canelo Alvarez, but stranger things have happened. Then at number 6, Rafael Espinoza. I can honestly say that when Rafael Espinoza fought the Cuban, I was pushing for the Cuban. I was hoping he was going to unify titles, and then I knew he'd be able to move up and face 2-time Olympic gold medalist Robsy Ramirez to become a 5-weight world champion. That on paper looked beautiful. What a fucking story, right? And Robsy Ramirez, unlike many of these boring ass Cuban fighters, he had a very exciting style, right? Obviously, he was a great amateur, but he wasn't the typical amateur Cuban. He wasn't the guy that was very defensive. He was also a power puncher, right? And I would have loved to see the stylistic matchup between him and Inoue. And maybe we still will get that fight. Who knows? But when Espinoza beat him, I didn't know who Espinoza was. I was shocked. When I saw the rematch, I walked away thinking, fuck me. Espinoza is a bad, bad man. And then the other few fights I've seen during that time as well, I walk away going, this dude is fucking great. He's can't miss. Every fight's super entertaining. The dude lets his hands go. He's fun to watch. I mean, I'm excited to see him literally in with fucking anyone. I'd love to see him go up and face Navarrete. I'd love to see him unify against any of the other champions currently at 126. I mean, he is a fucking monster in his own right. So I think he's great. Obviously, a great knockout percentage. The dude's dangerous, super fucking long. He is the upgraded version of Navarrete, tall and long, a guy that had many physical advantages over his competition, power as well. But technically, he's a much better fighter than Navarrete, right? Able to use a very good jab. He's a great in-fighter. He's also a guy technically that's just far smoother, not nearly as awkward and unorthodox as Navarrete. Obviously, Navarrete's interest was the fact that he was such an awkward, unorthodox fighter. So it was kind of fun to watch him throw uppercuts from fucking 6 feet away. But Rafael Espinoza is completely different. This dude is just a fun fighter to watch. I don't know how long he's going to be a great fighter in boxing. Guys like him, often their careers aren't that long. But for right now, he's must watch. Must watch. Holland Ninja says, if Bud beats Canelo and becomes a 3-time undisputed, Showbiz will say Clarissa had the better 3-time undisputed. Right, Sean? Well, fuck, let's hope Showbiz isn't that stupid. Because unlike Clarissa Shields, Bud Crawford didn't beat any fucking, didn't win any vacant titles. Clarissa Shields' 3 undisputed runs, majority of those were fucking vacant titles that nobody held because nobody wanted to pay sanctioning fees. So literally fucking those belts were just sitting there. They were just praying somebody would collect them so they could start collecting sanctioning fees. Thank you very much, Clarissa Shields. That's why the sanctioning bodies love her, because before her, they weren't making any money off of fucking women's boxing. Man, Ball is a good player, but these dudes just aren't athletic. Watching these guys in high school, fuck, man, they're like squeezing in 2-hand dunks like fucking I did when I play high school basketball. And I'm like 5'10". These guys are like 6'4", 6'5". If I was 6'4", 6'5", I would have been throwing down some nasty dunks on motherfuckers. But yes, laugh out loud, Holland Ninja. And let's keep going on my list. And next, we got Bam Rodriguez. Jesse Rodriguez obviously has a fight coming up soon, a unification fight. The 2nd time in his career he's going to unify. Tank Davis, what are you waiting for? The more you watch Bam Rodriguez, the more impressed or impressive he becomes. He is the Mexican American Lomachenko. His angles, his footwork, the things he does in the ring, it's sensational. He's hard not to fucking be impressed with. His performance against Estrada was fucking great. I know he got dropped, but I don't hate on the brother for getting dropped, just like I knew he got dropped. He's part of the game, right? If you're an aggressive fighter that's going for knockouts, you're being aggressive, which means potentially you're vulnerable for counter punches. He got caught, got back up, and fucking went on to destroy Estrada. Estrada, a future Hall of Famer, right? Easily, Estrada is going to be a future Hall of Famer. And he went in there and just fucking beat Estrada's ass. So much so that Estrada ducked a rematch. Ducked a rematch. Imagine that. Estrada and his team were like, no, we don't need that work. This is one of the best Mexican fighters during his fucking time in the sport. Him and Canelo, 1 and 2. And this dude was like, no, thank you. I had enough. Who could imagine? If Tim Tszyu beats Funduro, I want to see Virgil Ortiz, Tim Tszyu, but that on Crawford versus Canelo undercard. Every card needs at least 4 brawlers from now on. Well, that won't be on the card because they won't back-to-back fucking Tim Tszyu that quickly. Impossible. But look more likely if Tim Tszyu wins, he's probably going to fight fucking Lubin or fucking some other PBC fighter. Not that they potentially won't fight Ortiz. We know that Top Rank, but Golden Boy and PBC look as if maybe they're going to be working together. I don't know what happened with that Top Rank PBC conversation that we had. That looks to have fallen apart. And Oscar De La Hoya seems to have jumped in bed with obviously the PBC. And in truth, I don't mind. I mean, if we get to see Tim Tszyu versus Virgil Ortiz, great fight. Virgil will fucking kill him. Kill him. But, nonetheless, it'll still be a fun fight. And Virgil's not on my list because Virgil's sickness, lack of activity, poor performance against Boholichuk had him slide off my list. He was on my list, right? If you date back prior to all of that stuff, when he was planning to fight Stanionis, I was totally behind that dude, pushing hard, all over him, big supporter, more so for him than Boots Ennis. But after all of that, it's hard to like a guy going through these health issues, struggling to make weight, being inactive. He moves up to 154, has a very poor performance against a guy, gets dropped multiple times, looks fucking very vulnerable. Mind you, he bounced back with a great performance in his last fight, beating Madrimov far more convincingly than Bud Crawford did. But once again, styles make fights. Then we get to the next guy on my list, Artur Beterbiev. Yes, it's true. His time may be coming to an end, but how could you not enjoy watching Beterbiev go in there like fucking Terminator 4, hunting motherfuckers down, finding them, destroying them, and notching another knockout win on his resume? The only man to go the distance with him, of course, Bivol. Bivol, a future Hall of Famer, already has wins against fucking pound-for-pound fighter Canelo Alvarez, potential pound-for-pound fighter Zurdo Ramirez, and now obviously a victory over Beterbiev as well, another pound-for-pound fighter. I mean, that shit is crazy. That just shows you really where Bivol is in this boxing game. But Beterbiev, he's just a fucking monster. I mean, I just like to watch footage of him training because even in training, the dude's a monster, right? He also don't talk too much. He just does what he got to do. I was disappointed he ended up losing the rematch with Bivol. I thought he's going to come out and be even more dominant. And the early part of the fight, it looked like maybe he was going to get the stoppage. Then he ran out of gas. Bivol took over, won the fight. The trilogy is going to be great. Obviously, I think Beterbiev may be a little too old, a little past his best. So I'm favoring Bivol to win. But I'm hoping Beterbiev fucking lands something clean. I'm hoping. Jose, what's up? Good morning. or good night, my time. New Jersey's in the house. So today, Jose, we're talking about my popcorn list. This is the fighters that I can't miss their fights. I want to watch everything they're in. I'm super excited whenever they're in the ring. It's not a pound for pound list because obviously some of these guys are not on my pound for pound list. But you can be on my pound for pound list, and it doesn't mean I necessarily want to watch you. I'm just giving you credit because you deserve it on a pound for pound list. But here I'm giving you credit because I like you, your style, and what you do in the ring. Then we get to Kenshiro Taraji. I remember when Kenshiro Taraji was fast tracked to his first world title, this skinny Japanese kid with a baby face, and he went out there and just fought behind a fucking popping jab and beat two veteran champions in back-to-back fights and then a rematch. And after 3 fights, he was like 8-0. Didn't show much knockout power, but this kid was fucking incredible. And after that, he started sitting down on his shots, becoming more aggressive, wanting to entertain. Now he gets hit too much, but fucking his last fight against the other Japanese world champion for unification was one of the best fights, if not, and I got it, the best fight of 2025. The best fight of 2025. This baby-faced fucking Japanese guy who's now developing power. Man, he's fun to watch. Unified fighter in 2 weight divisions. Come on, Tank. What are you waiting for? Right? These Japanese guys are unifying titles left, right, and center. And these American dudes are afraid to fucking fight anybody with a world title. That shit's a problem. Everyone has the right to their own list. Yeah, and that's the thing. This is not a pound for pound list. So it's not based on criteria like a pound for pound list. It's just based on who you like to watch, right? And so everybody's going to have a different perspective on who they like to watch because everyone is an individual. So we will see. I'm sure some people will hate on my list, even though I don't know how you hate on who I like to watch. That's like me hating on who you like to watch. If you make this list and pretend it's a pound for pound list, I'll point out that problem because this is not a pound for pound list, even though Kenshiro is on my pound for pound list. But several of the other fighters I've already listed on this card today are not on my pound for pound list. Who's not on my pound for pound list? Let's go back quick and see who's not. Kenshiro, Beterbiev, yes. Jesse, yes. Rafael Espinoza, no. Terence Crawford, yes. Junto, yes. Keyshawn Davis, no. Lomachenko, no. Anui, yes. So there you are. 3 fighters on this list are not on my pound for pound list. Next, we got Oscar Collazo, a fighter that, because he's fighting in the smallest weight class in boxing, most people don't know who the fuck he is. But this kid is fucking great. The best Puerto Rican champion in boxing today. This guy is starting to dominate the strawweight division with power and skill, right? Generally, when you're so small, guys don't really have much power. We had other great Puerto Rican fighters that were champions in these weight divisions. No power at all, right? Would just outbox you for 12 rounds, kind of boring, but obviously dominant performances. Oscar Collazo is not that. He's a fucking straight up killer, right? Straight up killer. And this guy is super fun to watch because you can almost guarantee he's going to knock a motherfucker out. Almost guarantee that shit. And I'm eager to see him continue to take on the best opponents available at the strawweight division. And hopefully he moves up to the next division sometime soon. And I'm sure he will because this guy just wants to fucking kick ass. He was once talking to Oscar De La Hoya, and Oscar De La Hoya talks about the 1 year he fought, I think 6 times in 1 year, and talked about the problem with fighters today is that they just aren't like me. They're not fighting so much. They're not trying to entertain the fans. Collazo said, give me the fights. I'll fight 6 times in a year. He's still waiting for Oscar to give him 6 fights in 1 year. But it shows you the mentality. This guy just wants to fight month after month after month. And if you give him those fights, he'll fucking take them and probably win them. Japanese boxing is underrated. Japanese boxing is only going to fucking get better and better over the next decade. Of course, for example, I love watching Finito Lopez films where a lot of people don't. Yeah, the problem with Finito, great fighter, but not the most exciting fighter, and also didn't have the best competition. Stayed in one weight division, and because of that, he kind of limited himself, right? He didn't get the opportunity to really get as much fandom behind him as maybe he could have, because he was a guy that was getting pushed on American TV. Calazo has improved his skills tremendously. He wasn't that good just a few years ago. Exactly. He's just gotten better and obviously a lot more powerful in his punches, sitting down on shots as well. So he's been fun to watch. Super exciting. Then we get to Brian Norman. When I first watched Brian Norman fight, I was kind of disappointed with him. He was a guy that was getting a lot of praise as an up and coming young fighter. But every time I watched him, he seemed to fight to the level of the opponent, right? He didn't really impress me. He didn't really show me the hype behind him. Then, of course, he stepped in and faced the world champion as kind of a, you know, we'll throw you in hard, see if you fucking swim or sink. If you sink, we're going to cut you. If you win, you're a world champion. And that's kind of what Top Rank does a lot. And Top Rank did that with Norman, and he fucking stepped up and fought the best fight of his career, becoming the 147-pound world champion. His last performance, obviously against a mediocre opponent, but the way he went about getting rid of him was fucking fantastic. He destroyed that dude and looked sensational in the process, right? And that's what you're supposed to do with those kind of guys. Not struggle with them, not fucking make it competitive. You're supposed to fucking whitewash dudes like that. Now, of course, he's going to go to Japan, fight Jin Sasaki. I expect him to go in there and fucking flatline Jin Sasaki too. Jin's a hard puncher, but the dude defensively is very, very fucking open to get hit. And I think Norman's speed of foot and hands, along with his power, will be way too much for fucking the defensively flawed Jin Sasaki. But obviously, what I want to see is Norman fight Boots Ennis. Those two guys, as far as I can see, are easily the two best 147-pound fighters in boxing. Better than fucking Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, and Teofimo Lopez, fucking for sure. Better than Mario Barros. At this point, I don't even want to talk about Pacquiao. Come on, let's be real. So the fight I'd want to see would be Norman against fucking Boots, right? That is this era's, or right now, version of Leonard versus Hearns, right? It's a great fight. And I think Norman could beat Boots. Obviously, I favor Boots, but I think Norman, stylistically, for me, is kind of a fighter that I enjoy watching more. Boots has the potential to be super exciting, but then he also has the potential to be kind of fucking boring and hard to watch, right? Depending on what he does and stylistically the opponent he fights. But I think Norman is just going to be in super entertaining fights for as long as he's a name in boxing. So I'm eager to see his fights. I'm eager to see what he does in the ring. And I think he's just going to get better as far as him walking through dudes and destroying them. Yesterday, I watched John Boxing response video of you about the photo. Someone on BDA shared it. It's so funny, right? John used my picture and my name in 100 fucking videos, 100. But yet he simps and cries because I fucking mock and ridicule him in a video. That dude has criticized me constantly, called me dirty, mangy, fucking Neanderthal. People on his channel have thrown out racial responses left, right, and fucking center. But this is the kind of double standard Black Americans have. It's okay for John Boxing and everyone in his channel to be blatantly racist. But if anyone on my channel says a racist comment, or I say something they perceive as racist, then that's a fucking issue, right? I mean, I can't help it, John, that I'm almost 60 years old and I'm fucking much better looking than you are. You're 40 and you've never been a good looking kid, unfortunately. I mean, that's just unfortunate. Some people just have that problem in their life, right? I'm like a fine wine. I'm just getting better and better all the time. Could you bench press and squat more than me? Yeah, okay. Congratulations. I mean, this is your life. Hitting the gym and asking, do you even lift? Okay. Keep drinking those fucking sports drinks. Those things are going to kill you. Heart attack waiting to happen. Which BDA video? Someone on BDA Discord shared John Boxing's video responding to Sean. I think it's so funny because that dude responds to everything and then acts like, oh, Sean's fucking always stalking black fucking channels. Who stalks fucking non-black channels more than John? His comebacks were elementary level, poor fellow. Well, that's what happens when you're fucking. Do I need to show the picture again? I mean, mentally, you're always going to be on a subpar level. So the amount of fucking comebacks you're going to have obviously are not going to be that quick. He probably should get his Mexican wife to write the fucking comebacks. They'd probably be fucking sharper and more fucking hitting because women know how to hurt a man. But let's move forward. We don't need to talk about him. That's a waste of time. Next is a guy most people probably don't watch and aren't big fans of, and that is Albert Batagayev. Olympic gold medalist, Russian fighter, currently 12-0, 8 KOs, not including his other pro fights where he fought very good competition. But those fights are on the IBA, the Russian promotional company, which obviously used to do Olympic boxing. So those fights somehow don't get listed as professional fights, even though they are professional fights, but it's just a different circuit. Batagayev is a super fun fighter to watch. Even more so now that his chin looks like it's fucking super vulnerable. Because that dude, in his last 2 fights, he looks like fucking Amir Khan out there. Skill-wise, putting his hands together, super skilled, fun fighter. Currently, he is the WBA regular champion or interim champion. Obviously, he's probably going to be elevated once Tevin Farmer officially moves up to 135. And it'll be interesting to see who he fights next and if the chin issue is really an issue or what exactly is going. But yeah, he's a fun fighter. I like him. Obviously, I wish his chin was more like Golovkin or Lomachenko, but not all fighters are created equal. I mean, I'm a big AJ fan, and I would have loved him to have a fucking George Foreman, Mike Tyson chin, but unfortunately, that dude's got a susceptible chin. It just is what it is. You never know how your chin's going to be until you get hit, right? He tried hating on your phenomenal hairline. I know, eh? Like, Jesus Christ, man. And say, I got bugs in my hair. It's like, dude, man. Like, what's wrong with you? Are you fucking retarded? Sorry, we already talked about that. Yes, you are. But really? Okay. Yes, I'm dirty. I don't wash. I got bugs in my hair. But yet your fucking natty fucking hair looks like fucking your wife cuts it or your fucking kids. Dude fucking looks like, he's what's the word? Oh, ashy as fuck. Put some lotion on, dude. You ashy, man. Like that ain't good. A brother being that ashy as you are? God damn. Put some lotion on, man. Come on. Fact Stringer, very immature. We can all be immature. I can play that game too. But the irony is the lowbrow fucking mental fucking racist retards that follow his channel, those dudes consistently have thrown out racial fucking terms against everybody. Anyone that ever goes to his channel, leave the comments, can attest to it because that's just the kind of fucking people they are. They're all racist. John literally fucking attracts all the black fucking American racists to his channel, but then has the goal to call everybody else fucking racist. Really? Yeah, okay. I've never seen another channel on YouTube consistently make videos saying that whites are inferior to blacks. John's done that at least on 3, if not 4 occasions. I mean, that's the biggest fucking racial thing I've ever seen on YouTube boxing. And I've only seen one channel do it. Hating us part of his DNA, or hating is part of his DNA. He's just a bitter, unhappy fucking dude. And I can understand. He's married, right? He said, oh, Sean's not even married. I've never seen him with a woman. Why would I ever even bring a woman on camera to potentially come under scrutiny and criticism from fucking people like him and others before things were even worse, right? And no, I'm not married. And I'm happy to fucking say that. I don't need to be married. I don't need to have kids. If you want to be married, have kids, congratulations. I'll cry when you get divorced. But if that's what you want, fucking help yourself out. But it doesn't mean I need to do that. My dad once told me advice. This is a man who was married 3 times, has 3 kids that we know of. He said, Sean, whatever you do, don't get married. Those words resonated with me because obviously my mother was the first one woman he divorced. And based on her, I could totally fucking understand that no, I don't need to get married. Don't forget, he used to call you pink, dirty pink thing. Yeah, dirty pink thing. Like, is there a more racial term than that? I use the N word, and some, oh, that's so bad. But calling me a Neanderthal, a dirty pink thing, a pink cave demon. See, but this is the thing. Dudes like him are soft and sensitive, mentally fucking weak, fragile. You can call me all that shit. I don't care. I'll laugh because it makes you look like a fucking idiot, truthfully. The hypocrisy it takes for you to call me a dirty pink thing, but you think everyone's calling you the N-word. And we probably are. We're all calling you the N-word because you're living up to it. I'm 42, no kids, never married, and I have more money than ever, and I have zero stress in my life. Laugh out loud. Exactly. Man, I live with women. I dated fucking lots of women. And through all that experience, what it told me is, it's, don't get me wrong, it's nice sometimes coming home and the girlfriend cooking you some food and everything else is waiting for you as you walk through the door. Nothing wrong with that. But that's one of the perks. Along with one of those perks, there's plenty of fucking negatives, right? I don't get the perk, but I live in Taiwan. I can pick up food everywhere, and I have Uber that will deliver to my door. So it's not that big of a fucking deal. It's really not. But Albert Badagayev, pay attention to him at 130 pounds. He's a fun fighter. He might get knocked out, but it'll be fun until he does. And then we have Abdullah Mason, who's going to be fighting this weekend on that Keyshawn Davis card. This dude's a monster. Like, literally, you look at him and his physical makeup. This dude is way too big for 135 pounds. You know he's going to be at 140, probably fucking in 2026, next year. And it won't be long before this big dude is at 147, potentially also at 154. This is a guy that easily could become a 4-weight, possibly even a 5-weight world champion, depending on how his career goes. Speed and power. Obviously, you don't know what kind of chin he has and how you're going to carry that up in weight once you get older, how you're going to be impacted based on making a lot of money and getting a lot of fame, right? A lot of people, Charlo, Spence, right, crumble under that kind of thing. So you never know how someone's career is going to go. But at this point, 18-0 with 16 KOs, the dude's must watch TV. He looks sensational, right? He is the better version of Errol Spence, right? Very similar, but the better version. Longer, more explosive, faster, more versatile. What fights are you going live this weekend? I'm not sure. Obviously, the Wardley Hooney fight I'd like to see, but the problem with that, it's going to be, I don't know, 5 o'clock in the morning my time. So maybe I'll wake up to watch it. But the problem is I'm going out for dinner and drinks with friends Saturday night. So chances are, I don't know how I'll feel to do that, but we'll see. And then, of course, you got the Top Rank card. I don't know where I'm going to watch it. Obviously, these Top Rank cards don't show in Taiwan. So I'm going to have to find a feed, which means I have to use my computer, and it becomes fucking a whole pain in my ass. So, the likelihood is maybe I won't be on any lives, but I will see how it goes. I'm going to play it off the cuff and see how things work out. John Boxing gets cooked 24/7. That's true. Cooked 24/7. But Abdullah Mason, he's a real one. This dude already calling out Keyshawn Davis. That fight ain't gonna happen because Top Rank ain't gonna have Keyshawn Davis and Abdullah Mason fight at this point. Maybe at 140, but not at 135. Then we got the future. These are the two biggest prospects in boxing. Abdullah Mason, obviously the biggest prospect in American boxing. Moses Atama, the biggest prospect in UK boxing. 12-0, 10 knockouts. This dude is fucking killing motherfuckers with speed, technique, and power. He looks great. Obviously, he's getting a lot of comparisons to Tyson. Not the same kind of fighter as Tyson, but, a lot of the similar excitement surrounding him. Obviously, he's a much better spoken kid than Tyson, much more well spoken. And that's good and bad. Obviously, part of Tyson's charm was his street urchin mentality, right? Which made him entertaining in a off the wall kind of way. Moses is well spoken, well thought, right? When he talks, you can see that something's going on upstairs. He seems very grounded, down to earth. And to be successful in boxing, especially nowadays, with all the fucking scrutiny you're under compared to before because of social media and everything else, you kind of need to be like that because it's far too easy to get overpaid and just fall through the fucking cracks. As I said on multiple occasions, if I was one of these rich fucking young dudes, I know I'd fucking fall through the cracks because I'm more than prone to fucking enjoy the fruits of my labor. I'm not somebody who's going to go over the top and go to Betty Ford or anything like that, but still, I probably will be doing more of what I shouldn't as opposed to what I should be doing. I won't be somebody that's like James Harden-esque or fucking anybody like that, but nonetheless, I'm sure I'd make many wrong decisions. That's why I can't hate on people who make stupid decisions in their life when they make all this money and are under so much scrutiny in sports. They're just fucking athletes, right? That's why I don't care what an athlete says politically. LeBron, shut the fuck up. No one cares, right? Actors, same thing. You dudes are all fucking uneducated. Most of you didn't go to university. I don't need you to tell me anything about my life and the way I should fucking lead my life. But a kid like this, you can see he's got good family and good people around him. When is next Moses fight? Moses is going to be on the Daniel Dubois Usyk undercard. His opponent's not listed yet, but already he's put on that card, even though he just fought recently. They are planning on keeping him busy. I don't expect it's going to be against a killer opponent, but we will see. Where is it right here? Yes, to be announced. They're trying to find a game opponent for him. Wembley. I mean, shit. The kid's going to fight on Wembley. On the Usyk Dubois undercard. I mean, he ain't a superstar yet. But after this card, he won't be far away from being a superstar. Just put this in perspective. Everybody so far I listed on my popcorn list, all fighters I love to watch, but none of them have the prospects of being superstars like Moses Atama does. They're either too small. We know heavyweights sell and get far more attention than other weight classes, right? And we know UK fighters fighting in Wembley, Daniel Dubois versus Usyk. I mean, Moses Atama is probably going to be headlining his next fight after this in the O2 Arena, which is how many people? Any UK people here? Drunk Irishman, you still in the house? I think it's like 25,000 people that fill the O2 Arena. I might be wrong, but I think it's about that from what I remember. Don't be surprised if his next opponent and headline card is in the O2. And for a guy that's going to be 13 and fucking 0 with 11 KOs, Man, he's on the fast track, just like Anthony Joshua was, to take over UK boxing. Uh, we'll see if he's got a chin, because some people have alluded that his chin is not great as well. We will see. Why, Sean? Why isn't Fury versus AJ happening? I'm still super hyped for that matchup. I think it's still going to happen. I just think Fury is being Fury. He's going to wait until he can get as much money as possible. What's going on with all these fucking Palestine fucking protests? These dudes need to fucking get a life, really. And this dude throwing fucking Molotov cocktails, fucking tool. They should have just shot him in the fucking head, literally. Just put a bullet in his head, stupid motherfucker. You're literally throwing Molotov cocktails on crowds, right? People stupid as fuck. Like, if Jewish people want to have a protest, want to have a celebration and a march, why is it wrong for them to do that? But it's okay for people to do Palestinian fucking shit, right? This is the whole problem with the left. What's good for the gander is not good for the goose when it comes to these motherfuckers. In major shift, FBI spent 1 million manpower hours catching illegal aliens since Trump took office. Hallelujah. But I definitely think AJ versus Fury is going to happen in 2026. Irony, though, I heard that potentially AJ's next fight might be against Big Baby. And I don't mean Big Baby fucking Miller. I mean the other Big Baby, right? The good, young, up-and-coming American heavyweight who got stopped by Bakoli, right? That shit's crazy. First of all, I think it's probably too much too soon for Big Baby to be thrown in with AJ. And for AJ, are you really going to make a lot of money fighting a guy that Bakoli already fucking knocked out? You know what I mean? Like, if you beat him, does that really benefit you? Right? Like, if you're going to fight someone, you might as well fight the big Chinese man in China. You could do fucking 100,000 people in a stadium in China putting on that fight, right? So it's going to be huge money. It's a big fight. You could fight fucking Bakoli in Africa, Nigeria versus fucking the Congo, right? Huge fucking fight there, right? 100,000 people easily as well. So you could do real big fucking fights, global type of events, right? That would grab people from around the world's attention. Or you could fight this kid that already got knocked out by Bakoli. Like, how does that shit make sense? If you fight Fury, okay, that once again makes tons of sense. Everybody would watch that fight. It's also a huge global event as well, even though both guys are coming off of losses and not what they once were. But that's okay. They both have fallen off. So at this point, it makes sense. Let's move forward on my list. So there we go. These are the fighters that I have on my popcorn list, the fighters that I'm most excited to watch fight. I want to see their fights all the time. Obviously, as I said, AJ, Golovkin were on my list. Obviously, they've both fallen off. There's always room for guys to come up and there's always room for guys to fall off because, we're looking for guys that are dominant, destructive, and entertaining. And guys like Itama, Mason, Badagayev, Norman, Collazo, Kenshiro, Beterbiev, Jesse Bam Rodriguez, Rafael Espinoza, Bud Crawford, Junto Nakatani, Keyshawn Davis, Vasily Lomachenko, who might fall off my list because he may retire, and Anui, the monster. I mean, these guys are must-watch boxers, in my opinion. You may differ. Leave in the comment section below or in the chat section next door. Who are some fighters maybe I didn't list that you think are must-watch and on your popcorn list? Go. Let me see, guys. Hit it. Drop your 411 in the chat and let's talk about what you guys think and who you think potentially should be on this list. I'll wait. 14 of you are watching. Remember to hit the like button and share. I appreciate it a lot from the bottom of my heart. Janibek, he's just missing the opponent. That's true, and that's why he's not on my list, because a lot of his fights seem that he's fighting down to his opposition. He's not blowing me away like Golovkin did. He's not blowing away his competition like Golovkin did. Obviously, he looks much more of a box first type of guy, not a destroyer. But that's fine if he fights Carlos Adames, makes statements, maybe goes up to 168 and does something. But at this point, he's just not really grabbing people's buzz, right? And that's unfortunate. But many fighters are like that. A lot of fighters potentially could be great fighters, but unfortunately, for some reason, they just don't grab people's attention, right? Right now, all those dudes on that New York card, I heard people say that card was shit. No, man, that card was great when it was listed. It turned out shit, and that's unfortunate. And because of that, Ryan, Teo, Devin, nobody's really interested in seeing any of those fucking guys fight now, right? They've fallen off everybody's popcorn list because for the most part, they underperformed. If you underperform, it's going to be like that. You don't see Canelo on my list, even though Canelo's fighting Bud Crawford. And I will watch Canelo's fights for the most part, but, I've never been a huge Canelo fan. Stylistically, he's never been one of my favorite fighters. He was always too slow in his feet, didn't have a high enough punch output. One of the reasons why Tank Davis isn't on my list. Low punch output fighter, right? Loses rounds because he lets guys outwork him. And I just, I don't find that exciting. I think dudes need to let their hands go. That's just me. But who else, guys? Who do you think should be on a list, the popcorn list, or who is on your list? Don't be shy. Give it a try. Drop your names. If not, I'm going to have to look at this other list just as a topic of conversation since you guys are dropping the ball. I love Canelo, but the last time I truly enjoyed one of his fights was the Plant fight. Yeah, I enjoyed the run. Obviously, he had at 168 taking on Smith, Saunders, and Plant. But the last time I really enjoyed his fights was probably his two fights at 160 against Golovkin. And unfortunately, my fighter lost those fights or had a draw and a loss. So it didn't quite turn out the way I was hoping. Right, Lily? And that was disappointing. Obviously, I was watching those fights because of Golovkin, not because of Canelo Alvarez. Don't worry. We'll go out soon. Soon. Just let us continue our chat. Yes, she's so close to me because she's a dog and she's dirty, even though she lives inside and I wash her, and obviously she's not dirty. But she likes me because I'm dirty too. Right, John? We're dirty, Lily. You and me. Dirty. Look, she likes it. She's a dirty girl. Everybody likes dirty girls. If you don't like dirty girls, I got to question you as a person. Right? Right? But come on, people. So who else do you think belongs on the popcorn list? Let me just quickly find that other list that I took a picture of. On social media, there's always good lists. Here it is. Even though this has nothing to do with boxing, it's a list that I put. I probably should put it on my basketball channel, right, Lily? But since we're here, it's Shaq's top 10 list players of all time. So let me go through. Number 1, Michael Jordan. Yes. Number 2, Kobe Bryant. I love Kobe. I never really bought Jordan shoes because I like Dominique Wilkins. But I love Kobe, and I bought plenty of his shoes. Benavidez. To be fair, Benavidez stylistically is a fun fighter to watch. I don't hate on his style. I used to be a fan of his quite a bit. But the problem is he's a PBC fighter. He's not that active. And when he is active, for the most part, he was fighting fighters that no one gave a fuck about. Obviously, in 2024, when he fought Plant and Andrade, that was the culmination of his career. Two legitimate opponents he beat. Then he fought Gvozdyk, a guy coming out of retirement. How excited could I be by that? And then he fought Morrell, great opponent, an opponent I wanted to fight, obviously, at 168. But let me be fair. I still haven't seen that fight. I've seen highlights, but I never sat down and watched that whole fight. So I never saw Benavidez versus Morrell from round 1 to round 12. So if somebody told me someone got knocked down, I'd have to believe you because I never saw it. I only watched highlights. I can't remember even what I saw in the highlights. So he can't be on my popcorn list because I missed his fucking most recent fight. Right? So there you go. But Jordan, Kobe, LeBron James definitely not top 3 on my list. Magic Johnson, he's a Laker. Obviously, he's my top 10, but I was a Philadelphia 76ers fans. Bill Russell, come on, man. Bill Russell played with plumbers and fucking part-time basketball players. Wilt Chamberlain, sure. Wilt Chamberlain was a phenomenal, fucking unbelievable athlete for such a big dude. Bird, yes. Bird should be in front of LeBron James. Unfortunately, injuries shortened his career. Hakeem Olajuwon, for sure. I love Olajuwon. Tim Duncan, boring. Obviously, he had a great career, but he wouldn't be on my top 10 list. And at number 10, Julius Erving. I love Dr. J. Dr. J was the reason I started watching the NBA. But I wouldn't put him on the top 10 players of all time list, even though he's top 10 favorite players on my list. So he'd be on my popcorn NBA list, but he wouldn't be on my pound for pound list. No chance. Anyone with the right dance partner. That's true. That's true. I mean, if you get the right fight, sensational. Like we talked about it before when Tua fought Ike Ihebuchi, right? I barely knew who Ike Ihebuchi was. I think I'd watched him fight one other dude before that fight. Obviously, I knew Inui. He was not Inui, sorry, Tua. And Tua was a fun fighter, but, kind of one-dimensional. But when they fought, best heavyweight fight I've ever seen. If you haven't seen it, check it out. What a fucking great fight that was. David Tua versus Ike Ihebuchi. Mental. Ihebuchi was mental. But what a great fight. Machado, you mean the 135-pound up-and-coming fighter? Maybe, but I haven't seen many of his fights at this point, so he's not must-watch TV because I haven't watched too much of his fights. Wayne Evans says Charles Barkley was my favorite player. I love Barkley. I remember watching Barkley the same time I watched Malone and Olajuwon. I was a Pi Slamma Jamma Houston fan, and I watched them play, of course, Malone, and I watched them play, obviously, Auburn. And Barkley was the fattest motherfucker around. It was crazy to see him and hear the round mound of rebound. And the dude was round, man. It was incredible. And then he got drafted by Philadelphia, and I'm thinking him, Dr. J, what a great team. And obviously I enjoyed that team because I was a Dr. J fan, and Barkley's always been fun to watch. Sean, how do you feel about Jay Morant saying he'll cook MJ? He's stupid. I mean, that's the problem with young dudes now. They're fucking arrogant, uneducated, and just fucking brain dead, right? You can say it, but it don't make it real, right? All these people that try to act like Michael Jordan played against inferior players compared to today. Are these people stupid? Like when I said Bill Russell played against part-time basketball players, he did. He played against part-time basketball players because you didn't make enough money for most players back in the day. You had to have off-season work, kind of like the WNBA players. But that's not fucking the era that Michael Jordan fucking lived in. Michael Jordan came after Dr. J, Bird, and Magic Johnson, some of the best basketball teams in the history of the fucking league. The Moses Malone fucking Dr. J team, fucking dominant, ran through the league. Moses Malone. Oh, I took a picture. Speaking of that, just to fucking show you, like, put this in context, right? How fucking dominant people were. I mean, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar should fucking totally be on that list as well. The fact that uh, my man doesn't put him on that list, that's kind of disrespectful, because he should be on that list in a big fucking way. But, people dumb motherfuckers. Here you go. Moses Malone. In his 4 years at Petersboro High School, Moses Malone averaged 36 points, 26 rebounds, 12 blocks per game. He won 50 consecutive games and 2 state championships, and then fucking went straight out of high school into the NBA. LeBron James was never that fucking dominant. Sean, where are you? Sean, when are you going to get some basketball streams, fam? What do you mean? You want me to stream basketball? I can't do that. Can't stream anything. If Barkley was 6'10", he probably wouldn't be as good. But yeah, the bigs were 1,000 times better in that era. Way better. They literally developed big players back in the day. Now they have to go to fucking Africa to find a center for the U.S. Olympic team. Sean, why does Teal always put his foot in his mouth? Because he's a fucking idiot. Moses Malone, super underrated. But that's because you got guys like Ja Morant that are fucking, these dudes were getting way too much praise too early in their life. They fucking believe the hype. They think they're fucking so great. But it's like, come on, dude. Isaiah Thomas, when he first came into the NBA, way better than you. His all-around game, way better than you. Explosive, just as explosive as you. A winner, something you fucking will never be. Right? Isaiah Thomas is probably the best point guard that's ever fucking played in the league. And as a person, I don't fucking like him. But I remember fucking him back in the day, fucking for Detroit, before they became the bad boys. Before then, man, Isaiah was fucking nice. Obviously, he adjusted his game, got better players around him, and didn't need to do so much anymore. And they won titles. But fuck, man, when he first came out of Indiana, what a monster that guy was. Social media ruined the NBA, ruined everything. Those players get too popular too early and don't have the mentality. Yeah, too rich, too much fame, too much people kissing their ass fucking from day one, right? These guys believe the hype. How many high school players got tons of fucking hype and went on to fucking do nothing in the league? Some of them didn't even make the league, right? They were going to be the next great fucking player. The dudes didn't even make it to the fucking league. Because as people always told you back in the day, you could be a great street baller, but it didn't mean you're going to be a great NBA player. I don't know if you guys are that big hardcore basketball fans, but there's a book about Connie Hawkins. And it's Connie Hawkins' life as a kid, his development, the dudes he used to play street ball in New York with, and then obviously his college career, and then his early NBA career. And, they talked about some of the players that played with the street ball that were fucking incredible Rutgers players. But these guys couldn't play in the NBA because the game is too organized, too coached, too much of a team thing. And these guys couldn't fit into that kind of structure, right? They were more used to unstructured games, street ball, right? Where, they could dominate, but, also people didn't pay attention to their weaknesses. Sean, do you feel the NBA Finals will be boring with low ratings? I feel it's going to be low ratings, but I don't think it's going to be boring. I think it's going to be the opposite of boring. I think Oak City and Indiana, fucking great matchup. Two great teams. Obviously, Indiana was one of the best teams in the East. Oak City was the best team in the West. I think it's potentially a great matchup. And obviously the coach for Indiana, fucking great coach. great, great coach, and he's had a lot of time to prepare for fucking Oak City. So don't be surprised if Indiana wins fucking men's basketball and then wins the WNBA, Caitlin Clark. Why is Tio getting hate for wanting to fight a title as a championship level fighter? Well, people hating on him for calling out Boots Ennis. It's not so much that, because obviously him trying to take on Boots, a unified champion, is great. And that accomplishment with Loma and Taylor is historical. His career is fucking sealed if he won that fight. But he literally ducked a Keyshawn Davis fight for the same money he was going to get to fight fucking Boots Ennis. And now, just recently, again, this week, he just ducked a Devin Haney fight. So literally, you're offered one guy smaller who is going to come up to fight for your world title, right? Which should be something you're eager to do, because you don't have to fight a guy bigger than you who's going to have weight advantages of you. Remember when he fought fucking Nakatani and struggled with Nakatani's size and length and said he was never going to fight a tall fighter again, right? And now you're ducking a fighter that's similar size to you to chase after a guy much bigger than you? That don't make sense. Don't get me wrong. I'd be happy with the Boots fight. I would be even more happy with a Keyshawn fight. Imagine the hate Pete Maravich would get if he played today. Imagine. That's why he's not even talked about today. There's plenty of big fights for Tio at 140. Tio don't owe Haney no money opportunity or fight. Haney's stock is all-time low. Tio is ascending again. Haney versus Tio is a big fight because of Tio. Tio ain't ascending. Him going on rampages of fucking racism and fucking stupidity just makes him fucking that much more interesting to get knocked the fuck out. That's why people want to see him fight Boots, because they feel Boots is going to fucking flatline him, right? That's primarily why people are happy to make that fight. I knew Indiana would make it. Rick Carlisle's a brilliant coach. He is. How is Tio ducking when there are unifications on the line soon? But he ain't chasing unifications. He has never even mentioned a unification fight against any of those other guys. Never called out Richard Hitchens, even though for me, I think if George Kambosos wins, that's the obvious fight to make. I don't think he wants Hitchens, because Hitchens, like Haney, is fucking all wrong for him. Puello, also similarly, tall, long, wrong for him. If Matias wins, maybe he'll want that fight. And then you got fucking Gary Russell, but he's PBC. But stylistically, that would be a good fight too. But none of those fights make you money. Who's going to pay to see Tio fight Richard Hitchens or fucking Alberto Puello or fucking Gary Russell? How much money are you going to get to fight those guys? Fucking $100,000 and fucking, what is it? Cracker Jacks with the prize in the box? Like, come on, man. You want money, you're going to work with Turkey to make fucking Keyshawn, Haney, or Boots. But Boots don't want the fight. So then who are you going to fight? It comes down to those two fighters. Or who? Rolly Romero don't want to fight you either. He's chasing fucking PBC fandom with Mario Barros and Pacquiao. How is Tio ducking when there are unifications on the line? Keyshawn and Haney could always fight each other for the right to fight Tio. Keyshawn is a 135-pound fighter. Devin Haney's a 147-pound fighter. How does that even fucking make sense? What's up, pound for pound? Keyshawn has not fought no one elite. If Tio wants to unify, he has the right to do that. But he don't want to unify Evan. When have you ever heard him call out one of the champions? He's calling out a guy at 147. He's not calling out champions in his division. He's calling out a guy in a division above him. He was offered a fucking fight with what's his face? Howard, or what's his face? Why I can't say his name? He's on my list, but I never can remember his name. That's an in-house top rank fight. He ducked that fight too. Tio is fucking Cap. That's him. That's his fucking legacy. They will be scrapping Tio off the canvas with a shovel if he gets in there with Boots. Probably. But at least Boots has the right style. He brings the fight. So Tio could counterpunch him. I don't know if he could hurt him, but the opportunities are there for him to land something. Teo is the man at 140 until someone beats him. The man in the division nobody cares about, nobody watches. The biggest fighters in the division left to go to 147. Congratulations. I don't think Haney or Hitchens have anything to mess with Teo. We've seen Teo with lesser boxers. He struggled against them. He does not look good against longer outboxers who don't bring the attention to him. He's a counter puncher. Counter punchers don't like to fight guys who are defensive. They want to fight aggressive, come forward fighters that bring the action to them. Come on, man. You know that. Teo has fast hands and fast feet. Okay. He's no Pacquiao. People are too focused on performances years ago when he had baby mama issues. Stop. Those fucking miserable fights he had were like fucking last year. Baby mama trouble. Yeah, because he married that fucking bitch when his parents told him not to. Well, why? I'm going to feel sympathy for a guy doing stupid shit in his life. I don't feel sympathy for fucking Spence crashing his fucking Porsche. Why would I feel fucking sympathy for Teo having sex with a hot girl and being stupid enough to marry her? Fuck her with a condom. You don't need to marry her. I don't understand why would Teo duck him. I don't understand. Kambosos has fast hands than Teo, and George has slow compared to Devin. Teo knows what the fuck is up. I don't think Kambosos' hands are faster than him. Norman, why do I say Howard? I would expect Haney to duck sooner than Teo. To be fair, Haney's never ducked anyone. To be fair, right? Oh, sorry, he did duck Shakur to defend his undisputed titles when he was mandated by the WBC. So he did duck someone. Claggett had 7 losses, 2 draws, was piecing up a C-level fighter. Facts. Right? I still think Teo won the fight, but the fight was way more fucking difficult than it needed to be, more interesting, more action-packed, more exciting, better than fucking some of the other fights where he struggled with length, but he was supposed to fucking look good against Claggett, demolish the dude, piece his ass up, and fucking stop him, right? Even when he fought Barboza, he was super fucking defensive. Just because he wasn't as shit as Ryan Garcia or as shit as Devin Haney did not mean he was fucking good. He was boring as fuck too, afraid to engage. Man, he did not look great in that fight either. Yet Teo won, but shouldn't be getting hit like that against a domestic level guy. No, it was not a fucking great performance by Teo. I mean, I don't know who wants to praise him. The last good performance Teo had at 140 was the only good performance he had at 140 against Taylor, who people think was shot. And then prior to that, the last good performance he has was against Lomachenko. And then Kome. I mean, you got to go back far to find fucking great performances from Teo. This guy is like fucking Ja Morant, a guy who thinks he's fucking better than he is, fucking has ruined his career because of stupid shit that he's done. And at the end of the day, he's been the worst thing fucking for his career, just like Ja Morant, right? These dudes both could have been fucking rolling in it, enjoying it, but they both fucked it up. Taylor looked washed 2 fights before Teo fought him. There you go. Prime Minister Trudeau speaks after U.S. hits Canada with 25% tariffs. Well, Trudeau's no longer fucking the Prime Minister. So this must be a very old video. Nobody said Barboza is domestic level. Claggett, the Canadian fighter, he's domestic level. Oh yeah, 3 months ago. Why are you showing me a video on YouTube 3 months old? He beat Ramirez in Catterall and was ranked number 3 and 4 by the ring when Teo beat him. Well, to be fair, most people feel he lost to Catterall. He beat Ramirez, and that was fucking years ago. Years ago. Claggett is domestic. All Haney has done is beat the guy that lost to the guy Teo beat. Evan, it's okay that you're a Teal fanboy. I guess you're a huge IBFP, probably even more a huge fucking punch drunk boxing fanboy, right? Because, you know, Teal has the ability, but unfortunately, the dude's fucking touched, man. Mental, weak, vulnerable, never going to be great. Years ago, when I compared him to Fernando Vargas, that guy fucking lived up to that perfectly. Thank you very much, Tio. You are the modern fucking Fernando Vargas, a guy that just fucking threw your career away. Claggett almost lost every round to Tio. The dude also has 50 fights. A lot of people in their feelings because Tio better than these other fighters while saying racist stuff. Who's he better than? Who's he better than? Haney, Shakur, Tank, Keyshawn Davis? He ducked Keyshawn. Literally, he ducked that fight. He was offered the exact same money by Turki Al-Sheikh to fight fucking Keyshawn Davis that he was being offered to fight Boots Ennis. And he could stay at his weight class. Didn't need to go up in weight. Pulling fucking Keyshawn up from 135 to 140. But he ducked that fight to fight who? Barboza. Tio smokes Keyshawn. Keyshawn beat the fuck out of Tio, just like he beat the shit out of his dad. Keyshawn isn't proven at all. Oh, well, the only thing Tio's proven is that he's fucking mental and weak and thinks that being fucking a racist is somehow going to make him fucking a huge fucking superstar in boxing. Good luck with that. People just want to see his ass get knocked out. And if he takes on Boots, that's what's going to happen. At the end of the day, his resume is better than Keyshawn's, Little Deb, Stanks, and actually, Devin's resume is better. Devin is an undisputed champion and moved up to a second weight division and beat Prograis, who was coming off of a victory to win a title. Taylor was coming off of a controversial fight. Majority of people, 98% of people, felt that he lost. How many top 5 wins does Keyshawn got? How many does Teal got? You're comparing a guy who's fucking just become a world champion and acting as if fucking resume means something. No. Keyshawn beats fucking Teal's ass, and Teal knows it. That's why he's afraid to fight him. Keyshawn, nice, you tripping. All these people that hate on Keyshawn, I mean, they're going to be the same people on fucking Monday that come out with excuses when De Los Santos gets knocked the fuck out. Right, Lily? Yeah, you tell him. Knock the fuck out. Teo's a 2-time undisputed. No, he's not. But I won't hate on him for that. That's the politics of boxing, unfortunately. But if boxing was fair, Jack fucking Catterall would have fucking been undisputed at 140, and Taylor would have been beaten. Evan Deere, Keyshawn just got lit. Relax. Keyshawn, easy fight to make. Why isn't he getting back for his dad? Exactly. The dude beat up your dad, and then fucking Turki offered you big money to fight him, and you don't want that fight. You want to fight Boots Ennis. Tell me how that shit makes any sense. But Evan always comes here fucking capping hard for certain fighters. He's fucking Teal fucking version of Mirage for fucking David Benavidez or other fucking dudes that come here and fucking cap for Devin Haney. I don't understand how you dudes can go on multiple channels and fucking cap for fighters so hard. Like literally, you guys got like these guys tattoos on your ass. You fucking got wank banks where you're watching fucking videos of these dudes walking around fucking in their training gear. Like, what's with the twisted fucking boxing mentality? You got posters on your wall of these guys? Like, how old are we? 16-year-olds with Farrah Fawcett on the wall? Holy fuck. Come on, man. Lily knows more boxing than you, Devin. That's fucking a fact. That's why she put her head down and like, I can't listen to this shit. Ring Magazine's champs make you undisputed. All the other belts don't mean shit. Hey, I don't disagree with you there. I don't disagree with you there. I'd be happy if all the belts got disbanded and Ring Magazine was the only one. Teal got beat by Kambosos. Beat. Got his ass beat. Yo, Sean, is the ring belt a legit belt now? It's always been legit to me. But I don't know if it's legit now. It's still the ring belt. In a sense, it's kind of like the lineal title. It'd be better if for sure it was connected more to the lineal title to simplify that, because it's not always, but it's kind of connected to the lineal title. So that's where it gets its legitimacy, right? Tio is the man until he loses it, is what it is. He already lost. KO Boxing 8-6, Fangden, and Box Shigo definitely got Tanks posters. They do. Those dudes are fucking sick and twisted, man. Like Fannin, that dude lies every single video. I cannot understand why anybody watches his channel, because nothing he says is true. Ego is just a fucking idiot. And Knockout Boxing, for as good a boxing fan as he is, he sold his soul to the devil to be a PBC fucking fangirl. I guess the money's good, right, KO? Kambosos did 2 moves all night, and he couldn't adjust. You can literally hear George's dad and coach screaming out, right over the top. And he ate those overright hands from round 1 to 12. It's more legit than others. Fangden needs to get back on his medication. Yes, he does. That guy is fucking mental. That's why he's divorced. His wife kicked him out of the house, and now he's fucking living with his dog. Hey, sounds like me, but I never got divorced. And I never claimed to be a lawyer. I just act one on TV. But, you know, these people, you can't shoot them in the head and bury them in your backyard. You can't really listen to their channels either. So what can you do? Kambosos is a tough fight versus Hitchens, bro. I have boxing posters in my boxing gym. Yeah, that's where they're supposed to be, right? Motivation. To be fair, I'd love to see Kambosos beat Hitchens, because Hitchens is boring as fuck. I never fucking felt him. I never thought he was good. And if Kambosos beats Hitchens, a Kambosos Tio rematch would be fucking legit. That would be probably the best fight Tio could ask for, and the fight most likely for him to potentially win. Oh, this is a huge statement signing. Liverpool. Wirtz joining Liverpool. Man, Liverpool's going to be nice next year.
With fans celebrating. It's just been
brilliant. Brilliant, Gov. Brilliant. Yeah. As you can see, Lily's getting sick and tired of your bullshit, people. And it's time I should probably walk her. Right? Should we go for a walk? Do you want to walk? Should we go for a walk? Yeah? Go for a walk, Lily? Is that a yes? Okay, we'll go for a walk, okay? Loma just announced his retirement. Really? Good for him. That's too bad. I'm disappointed. But it's good for Raymond Muratalla. He'll become the IBF champion, which means Keyshawn Davis is going to unify by knocking his ass out. Because Teal's a duck. Sucks he got robbed. It does. Hitchens is a defensive fighter, low punch output, and very rangy. Boring as fuck. At least if George wins, he will take another tough fight, while Chickinson will look for another cherry pick. He called out George before he even had a fight at 140 and 3 losses. Muratalla beats Keyshawn. Delusion is not just a fucking river in Egypt. Always said this. Good luck with that. When Lomachenko announces retirement. I don't know, Boss Deck. That's what Evan said. But Evan says all kinds of crazy shit. So take that with a grain of salt. But people, I need to go walk the dog. I will see you next. Thanks for jumping in. Remember to like, share, And I will see you guys next time. Obviously, we've got big boxing this weekend. Keyshawn Davis, Abdullah Mason, Junto Nakatani, and Jay Opataya. Stay tuned. I'll see you guys then. Peace out. Have a good week.